If Trump is arrested, I don't know. I mean, as far as riot, there's not going to be any riots if Trump gets arrested, and I think it's a win-win situation. If he gets arrested, they still have to put him in they still have to lock him up. So you can arrest anybody for anything in New York City, but to actually lock him up, that's a whole different story. So obviously the DA is doing everything he can to have Trump's mugshot into the news, but unfortunately it's going to backfire him. So if they arrest him, it's a win. If they don't arrest him, it's a win. Because if they don't arrest him tomorrow and they throw out the indictment, then Trump has won yet another, just a fictitious case that was put in front of him.
About the wording of the tweet using the word protest, and how do you understand that?
Yeah, so the wording of the tweet, although it's legal to protest. Normally, Trump supporters don't protest. We rally. Protesting is usually, in New York City, especially when they put out a protest, they're usually against something. We're not really against Trump getting arrested, because if he gets arrested, it's just gonna give him what I call a Trump bump. But the wording wasn't the best, because usually he says get out and rally. So I just think it was one of Trump's very minor mistakes in communication, because the wording should be get out and rally.
Can I ask you, why do you think Trump is the right person to be the president in 2024?
That's an easy one. So yeah, I think Trump's the right person to be the president based off of his previous accomplishments. Lowering taxes, the first president in 40 years, no wars. And then even when the COVID happened, he did the Fast and Furious or whatever it was for the vaccine. He got the vaccine out really fast, but he was a great president. As far as results, media-wise, he's not the greatest president in the world because the media hates Trump, because he breaks up the status quo in Washington, D.C., and the corrupt politicians in Washington, D.C. don't like somebody to come in and stir the pot of their thievery, corruption, bribery, and everything that they do down in Washington, D.C. So they don't like the fact that Trump exposed him, but as a president, he was one of the greatest presidents, if not the greatest president, since George Washington.
Yes.
By results.
You mentioned rolling out of the vaccine very quickly as one of Trump's accomplishments. So what do you think about the perception of supporters of President Trump being against the vaccine?
Against the vaccine? The vaccine is extremely complicated when it comes to conservatives, because some vaccines might work. I don't know. But Trump never mandated the vaccine. He gave the option for you to take the vaccine or not take the vaccine. Unlike some of the governors and some of the mayors who made either you get the vaccine or you'll get fired. Trump never one time did he ever say you must go get the vaccine. He said if you want to get the vaccine, get the vaccine. If you don't want to get the vaccine, don't get the vaccine. But there's just a lot of misconception by the media portraying that Trump forced or asked his constituents to get the vaccine, and he never did that.
And in terms of the primaries, in terms of DeSantis versus Trump in 2024, what do you think the arrest is going to do for that? How it's going to affect the primaries?
How they affect, yeah. So I don't think DeSantis should finish his job, what he was paid and he was elected to do down in Florida. He never made the promise to his people down there that he was going to finish the job. So after the first year in office, he's going to step down only to lose in the primary, because in the state of Florida, you can't be a governor and run for president. So I think that's if you lived in another state, like I think it was New Jersey, when Christie could still run the state and run for president, but DeSantis can't. But the problem is he's a young man. He knows that Trump supporters have much more support for them, 60, 70% more support for Donald Trump. So why would he enter a race only to stir the pot and to more than likely lose the primary race?